There she is.
Hey.
Okay. So we are going to get started. Most of you know who I am. So I am Darlene Bellarmino, founder of Rise Training and Girl Up, the fitness app for women. And I am joined by Jackie Romano, who is the owner of Realign Design. So Jackie brings over 20 years of diverse design experience to you. She's an award-winning designer and has worked as a creative problem solver for Fortune 100 and 500 companies. Now an entrepreneur in her own business, she can help us make the most of our gym spaces. So whether it's small or big, that's what we're going to talk about. So a while back, we were talking about the different colors that we kind of surround ourselves with. And so we thought it might be fun, since she's a designer and I'm in fitness, that maybe we talk about home gyms. Not necessarily huge, so keep that in mind. Like when we're talking about this, we're talking any space, okay? Any size space. But what we're saying is that color really affects our mood, our productivity, everything. And I am one of those people, if you don't know this, it really, really affects me, almost to the point that it could be a little rigid, sadly, but it does. So, I am who I am. But it matters in terms of how great I do my workout, how long I do my workout, everything, my energy level. So it really, really is important. So I wanted to discuss this with Jackie for you guys, because I'm sure you struggle with that. In the midst of the pandemic, I decided that I needed to have a space. I'm sure we all did. We needed our own space after time, we realized. So I wanted to create a gym space, and the piece I spent the most amount of time on was color, because that matters. So before we get going, I just want to encourage you guys to ask questions, comment, whatever you want, and hopefully I can get to all of those questions with Jackie. All right, so Jackie, take it away. It is all yours. Thanks.
Thanks. So you guys can hear me okay, I guess?
You sound good.
Perfect. So before we get into like the actual colors, there's two things I just want to touch upon because it really is, it kind of plays in with color. Color is actually kind of like on the light spectrum. There's a whole science behind it, which I'm not going to get into right now. But one of the two things I want to talk about, which really do affect the color in the space, is lighting and mirrors. So lighting is so important when you're doing your space. So things to think about are, you always want to try to have as much natural light as possible, because light is also energy, and that helps when you're working out. So having as much natural light as possible is great. If you don't have that, we always recommend getting some LEDs to layer in lighting too. And that's going to affect how your space looks. So different lighting, and there's like soft lighting, there's more harsher lighting. LEDs are always good on the cool side for gym space. So if you don't have the natural light, layer in some extra lighting for your space. Another way to help lighten up the space is using mirrors. So large mirrors, there's a reason why they're at every gym you go to. Besides helping to double up the light and help to expand the space, visually, it also helps checking your form, as you know, Darlene. Like, you have to check your form and it's making sure that you're doing whatever workout you're doing safely. So those are the two things that, just other things to think about when you're setting up your space. Now getting into color, the fun part, color definitely affects your mood. So there's different colors with different wavelengths and lighting that will help to increase your heart rate, increase your energy, while others can kind of help bring it down, calm the mind, calm the body. So all depending on the type of workout that you do, you're going to want to think about these different colors. So for example, like neon colors, right? Besides looking like the 80s, neon colors are extremely energizing. So like any of the neon colors, they're bright, they're energizing. Those are kind of colors that you can have in your gym if that's the type of workout that you're doing. On the other hand, like pinks and pastels kind of calm and soothe the mind. So that might be for more yoga studio, meditative. We also have like greens. That green's a super popular color because green kind of denotes health and balance. Another good color for meditative and yoga, depending on the kind of green too. But greens, when you think of green, you think of healthy, you think of nature. So bringing in some of those natural colors, nature colors. Then we have blue. So blue is typically used a lot in corporate spaces. It's used a lot in healthcare. If you've seen like healthcare companies use blue, because it kind of gives a feeling of security. it also helps with productivity. So that's why you see it a lot in office space, because it actually is known to increase productivity. So how great is that when you're working out to have some blue in there, which is going to help you be more motivated and more productive in your workout.
Right. Yeah. Good thing I put some blue into mine. I've,
Yeah, and when we're talking about these colors, it doesn't have to be the whole thing painted, that color, but these are just things to think about when you're putting in, whether, obviously paint is an obvious one, but maybe it's just some of the other little accents that you have in your workout space. So you could always put a pop of color into something. It doesn't have to be full blown, neon colors on the wall. Um, so another color I wanted to talk about is purple, which is more known for like luxury, nobility. That one is good for motivation as well. So purples, bringing in purples.
I
Funny
think
thing
that's
is,
the hot color right now, isn't it? Like everyone's
uh,
cool right now. And
yeah, like the
uh,
darker. The funny thing is, like a lot of men don't like purple.
right.
Like when again, there's like a whole philosophy on, color theory is a whole thing unto itself. It's a whole, skill. But yeah, they found that a lot of men don't like purple. So just something to think about for some reason. There's something about purple that most men don't like. So that
Um,
being said, it's so another great color to put into your gym is orange. So orange is like a little bit of a mix of red, which we're going to get to in a sec, and that's like energizing, and yellow, which is very cheery. So it has kind of both of, a little bit of both, obviously. So it has a little bit of the best of both worlds. So you see orange being used a lot in like team sports and things like that, because it is that cheery kind of energizing color. And then red, which I just mentioned, which is very energizing. It's a very strong and bold color. Sometimes it can be a little too aggressive. Now, again, all these colors, there's a spectrum within all these colors,
right.
like for green, there's like yellow green, there's blue green, there's, sea foam. So there's a huge spectrum within the colors that I'm talking about that you could work with. And then finally, if color isn't your thing, there's always neutral, right? So greige, gray, whites. These are super popular colors now too. And these colors actually work in a gym because it gives you like a clean space
Hmm.
and it helps you to focus on your workout more. So you're not distracted as much. So neutral colors absolutely work in a gym space as well.
Those are mostly my colors. I have a lot of light gray, white. I have specks of blue in there, but then I also brought my plants in, so I have
Yes.
going on. It just felt better, it felt like we're still getting a really great workout and we're really energized, but then I felt like I needed something more nature.
Natural. Yeah. 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 Yeah, so bringing nature in is always a really great idea too, especially if you're doing more of the yoga, meditative kind of workouts. The other thing that we didn't really talk about so much, but it's something to consider, is now that we're getting nicer weather here in New Jersey, some people are moving their workouts outside.
Yep, that
So
it's great.
yeah,
That's
besides the fresh air, you have the beautiful, natural light coming in, and you're out in nature, which is really great to connect to as well. Some people are even setting up, besides on the deck or a patio, some people are actually converting their sheds into little workout spaces, little
uh,
mini gyms.
that's a great idea. I converted my garage. That's the space I
Yeah,
ended. And it's great. I never thought I'd have a gym garage,
yeah,
but I actually really love it. Like it's away from the house. I can have my space and I can open up the doors. So if it's nice out, we can open up the doors. So it's working out great.
yeah. So, and garages, basements is another common one. And again, you have to kind of think about, what kind of workout are you doing? So if you're using heavy weights, you probably don't want to be upstairs.
That,
you
right.
know? And you probably need more space too. If you have, a larger piece of equipment, you're going to need a little bit more space. Whereas, for yoga, you can find a little nook or something and throw down your yoga mat and you're good to go.
Right.
Um, Regardless of that, you should always make sure, and you could probably talk to this, Darlene, is making sure that when you are picking out the space that there's good air circulation.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
You need air. I mean, you know, anybody that's been in a gym, you know how it feels sometimes. It just feels, I don't even know how to explain it, but stuffy maybe. It's
Hmm.
just, and yes, you need clean air to keep breathing. So absolutely.
Yeah. So your air, your lighting,
Hmm.
the mirrors, where you are in the house too, carving out that space for yourself, and then thinking again about color, like how can you bring color in? How can you bring nature in? How can you, kind of have it this little carved out spot that's going to help you stick to your workout.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Now, how about, I'm going to guess you're going to say LED lights, but how about people that have to put it in their basement and maybe don't have really big windows, you know, to get all of the nice sunlight in? Would it be the LED lights only? Is there something else they can do too?
Yeah, I mean, probably the LED lights are probably the best, I would say, for that solution. But then, depending on the space, you might want to brighten it up with a neutral or a white color.
Got it. That's true, right? Because it'll,
And mirrors. Like I said, mirrors are a great little design trick that add space
right,
because it actually doubles up whatever it's reflecting. So mirrors are a great little trick to add any kind of light. It doubles your light automatically. So, and it helps it open up the space as well. So if you are in a kind of confined or darker space, adding mirrors, maybe doing a light or a white color, and then putting in the lights as well. And
yeah,
again, if that's the kind of workout, now if you're doing, meditative yoga, Pilates type of thing, you may not need super bright lights. You might want to have something with a dimmer switch
right,
so that if somebody else is using the space, you can kind of adjust that light to what you need. Remember, the more light, the more energized it is. So you may not want to have that, super bright white light coming down on you when you're working out, especially
right.
when you're doing yoga.
That's true. You know, I forgot that a mirror would create extra light. I was thinking
Mm-hmm.
space, but I forgot about the light. I'm actually, that's the one piece I did not put into my gym yet. I have a space, but I have to pick out a mirror, I guess. But I was looking at it in terms of people looking at form. I wasn't really
Yeah,
looking in terms of light or space. So that'll be great. I'll add a little more to it. So yeah,
yeah, absolutely. It's a great little trick.
right. So, yeah, so this was great. I don't know if you guys who are on have any questions, but if you do have any questions going forward, you know, if you have a space that you want to try to create for your own, you can always contact Jackie. So she is at Realign Design. Am I correct? That's your
Yeah,
handle. So if
yes.
you guys aren't connected, you might want to, you know, follow her. And if you're coming on from Jackie's side, if you want to contact me, I'm at risetraining.fit if you're interested in any kind of workouts. I would love to talk to you. Um, but for now, that was great. I'm so glad we did this. Thank you.
Yeah,
And hopefully we can do this again.
yeah, absolutely. Any questions anybody has, I think it's great, especially now during this time. People, are a little hesitant about going back into the gym, and people like, trainers like you who can offer this virtually or online, it is a great option for people, and it kind of gives, kind of takes away that excuse like, I don't want to get dressed and go to a gym.
Right. That's been
So yeah, you could definitely, set a space up in your home. You can stream in and help these people, achieve their fitness goals and have a little kind of happy space for yourself to work out in. So we'd love to help you with
absolutely.
that. And
Yeah, please, guys. I do virtual. So if you don't know that, I have
mhm.
virtual everything, training and classes. So if you are one of those people that wants to be home for whatever the reason is, whether you know you're still nervous to go out or it's become convenient because it has for a lot of us, um, let me know. I would love to talk to you. So you guys have a great day and thank you so much for joining us, Jackie. Thank you, and I will.
Thank you. Till next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.